Welcome to the study portal. Today we are going to discuss about the joints. Okay, in this video we all discuss about what are the joints, how they are classified and what are the functions of the joints in the human body. As you can see, when two bones are coming together and joined by a single point, these are the joints. Or in simple words, I can say that joints are the sites where bones and cartilages are come together, then they form the joint. Alright. For example, as you can see, these two bones are come together and forming a joint. So in our body there are many kinds of the joints are present. So depending upon the position, depending upon the place where they exist, they have different classifications. So we are covered all the classifications, all the functions and the examples of that particular joint in this video. Alright. So before start with classification, I would like to discuss about that the scientific study of the joints is also known as the arthrology. Alright, means when we are studying about the joints, it is known as the arthrology. And I already told you that what are joints? Joints are those places where two bones or cartilages are come together and form joints or articulations. Alright. While some of the joints are movable, but some are not movable. Okay. For example, the joint which is present in our neck, it is movable. We can move our neck, we can move our hands. So these joints are movable, but we can't move our belly to 360 degree because these joints are unmovable. So there are many kinds of the joints in our body. It is depend upon the tissues which are present in that. Alright. So let's start. So firstly, there is the introduction of joint, means that what is joint. As I already told you that arthrology means when we are scientifically doing study of the joint, it is termed as the arthrology. Or what is a joint? A joint is called the articulation point of contact. Alright. Means that a joint is defined as when the two bones are come together or when the two cartilages are come together, then they are known as the joint. As you can see, this is the joint when two bones are come together. Alright. So the next term is the kinesiology. It means when we are studying about the motion of the human body, means that how human body can move, how our hands can move, how our hands can rotate. So when we are studying about the motion, then it is known as the kinesiology. Alright. So the simple definition of the joint is that it is a site at which two or more bones articulated is called joint. This is the very simple definition, means that joint is a site where two or more bones are articulated and forming a joint. Alright. So let's see what are the classification of the joint. Alright. So the joints are classified into three types. First is fibrous joints or fixed joint, means that these joints are made up of fibrous tissue. So that's why they are fixed. They are can't able to move. So fibrous joint is also known as the fixed joint, or it is known as the immovable joint, means that these are those joints which can't move. Alright. And the next type of the joint is that cartilaginous joint. What? Cartilaginous joint. What are the cartilaginous joint? These are those joints which contain cartilage. Due to the presence of cartilage tissue in them, these joints are the slightly moved. Means these joints are moved but can't move freely. They are controlled. So fibrous joints are fully immovable. They are fixed. But cartilaginous joints are slightly moved. And the last is the synovial joints. Synovial joints is also known as the freely movable joints. Alright. So these are those types of the joints. Synovial joints are those types of the joints which can move easily or freely, because there is the presence of synovial fluid in between the joints of in between the synovial joints. There is a fluid present, and this fluid is known as the synovial fluid, and also an articular capsule is there. So due to the presence of the fluid and the cavity which is filled with synovial fluid, these joints are freely movable. Okay, synovial joints are freely movable, and the fluid which carries in the or which is present in the synovial joints is known as the synovial fluid. So let's see fibrous joints or fixed joints or immovable joints. So these joints are held together by tough tissues which develops during childhood. Means that these joints carry the hard types of the tissue which is fibrous tissue, and when it develops in the childhood. So that's why they are immovable, they can't move. There are three types of the fibrous joint. Okay, we have three types of the fibrous joints. First is sutures, syndesmosis and the goose forces. These are the types of the fibrous joints. Sutures only found in the skull. You know, this is the skull. So in between the bones of the skull there are the sutures. They are the part of the fibrous joint. Means that they can't move. Our skull can't move now. So the spaces in the skull, they are joined together by sutures. This is a part of the fibrous joint or fixed joint. The next type of the fibrous joint is syndesmosis. Syndesmosis are those joints in which the bone are connected by a band of connective tissue. Means that in the syndesmosis, the tissues are connected to each other by means of the connective tissue. Alright. And the last is gum forces. So gum forces are the fibrous, as you all know that I already told you, fibrous joints are of three types. First is sutures, second is syndesmosis, and third is the gum forces. The gum forces is present between the teeth and their sockets. So the joints which are present between the teeth and the sockets, these are known as the gum forces. So it's all about the fibrous joint. Fibrous joint have three types: sutures, syndesmosis and gum forces. The next type of the joint is the cartilaginous joint. Cartilaginous joint is also known as the slightly movable joint. Alright, so cartilaginous joints are those joints which are those in which the bones are connected by cartilage. As I told you that in the fibrous joint, the bones are connected by fibrous tissue. But in the cartilaginous joint, the bones are held together or connected by cartilage. Alright. So due to the presence of that cartilage, these are slightly movable. But the cartilaginous joints are also of two types. First is synchronosis and the symphysis. So these are the types of cartilaginous joint which are the slightly movable. So where are the synchronosis found? They are found in the epiphyseal plates of the growing bones in the children. They are found in the growing bones of the children, and the symphyses are found at the joints between the vertebrae and between the pubic bone. As you can see, these are the vertebrae. So in between the vertebrae there are the symphyses which are the part of the cartilaginous, or which are the type of the cartilaginous joint, are also found in the pubic bone. Alright. So example, where are the fibrous joints are present? Example is cranium. Cranium is present in the skull. Alright. And the example, where are the cartilaginous joints present? As I already told you, cartilaginous joints are of two types: synchronosis and the symphysis. Synchronosis is found in the epiphyseal plates of the growing children, while symphysis are found in the between the vertebrae and in the pubic bone. So they are found in the vertebral column and the pubic bone, symphysis pubis. Alright. And the last is the synovial joint. Synovial joints are the freely movable joints. They are freely moving all directions. Okay, so synovial joints are the only joints that have a space between the adjoining bones. Means that these are the two bones. You can see there is the space in between these bones. This is the space. So synovial joints are only those kinds of the joint which having space between the adjoining bones, and this space is known as the synovial cavity. The space which is present between the adjoining bones is known as the synovial cavity, and the synovial cavity is filled with what? It is filled with synovial fluid. Alright. So what is the function of the synovial fluid in the synovial joints? Synovial fluids lubricates the joint and reducing the friction between the bones and allowing for greater movement. Are you understand? Means that the presence of the synovial joint in between the adjoining bones or in the synovial cavity allows the bones and reduce the friction. Okay, so that due to the reduction of the friction, there is the chances of the greater movement. That's why these are the freely movable joints. Alright. So these are the only type of the joints which having a cavity, and that cavity is filled with the what? Filled with synovial fluid. Alright. So this lubricates the joint. What lubricates the joint? Synovial joint? Synovial fluid. As you can see, these are the two bones. This is the space. This space is known as the synovial cavity, which contains a yellow color material which is known as the synovial fluid. And around this cavity there is the capsule which is known as joint capsule. And this is the synovial membrane, and this is the soft tissue. Alright. So you all know that I already told you that the function of the synovial joint is that it lubricates the joint, which reduce the friction. So due to the reduction in the friction, there is chances of the greater movement or smoothly movement. Alright. And inside that there is also a synovial capsule which contains the fluid in the place. Due to the presence of the capsule in the outside parts or in the outside environment, the fluid cap remains inside its position. Alright. And the synovial membrane lies inside the capsule where the fluid is produced. In this membrane the fluid is produced. Alright. So we are seeing the types of the synovial joints. Alright, there are the, as you know that fibrous joint have three types. As I already told you, cartilaginous joints have two types, but the synovial joints have 6 types. Okay, they are the freely movable, so they have more types. Depending upon the position, they are divided into different joints. First is the ball and socket joint. Second is the hinge joint. Third is the pivot joint. Fourth is the gliding joint. As you can see, this is the gliding joint, saddle joint, and cord-like joint. So these are the, you can see these are the representations of the joints. You can see in the diagram. So let's see where is the ball and socket joint in the body. So this is the ball and socket joint. What is this? Ball and socket joint. This is wait. Where is the ball and socket joint? This is the ball and socket joint. Ball and socket. Alright. Number 1. And where is the hinge joint? The hinge joint is the between humerus and radius. So this is the 2 hinge joint. Alright, this is the hinge joint. This is the gliding joint. Number 4. This is the gliding joint. This is the saddle joint. These are the saddle joints. This. Number 5. Alright. And these are the number 6. Condyloid joint. Condyloid joint are there. Behind the what? Saddle joint. Okay. And the gliding joints are those joints which are present in the femur and fibula and fibula. So these are the 4th gliding joints. These are the gliding joints. Alright. Gliding joints. And the remaining is the pivot joint. The joint which is present between the neck and the ribs is the pivot joint. Number 3. Okay. Alright. So ball and socket joint are present in pubic bone. And the hinge joint is between the humerus and the ulna. Okay. And the pivot joint is between the neck and the thoracic cage. Gliding joint is where? In between the bones of legs. Saddle joint is in the carpals and metacarpals. And the condyle joint is between the bones and the metacarpals, alright, or behind the saddle joint. So these are the types of synovial joints. Okay, these are the types of what? Synovial joints. These joints are the movable joints. So let's discuss the characteristics of the synovial joint. These are the general characteristics which having in the synovial joint would make unique the synovial joint and provide unique characteristics to the synovial joint. So what are these? First is the articular cartilage and hyaline cartilage. The part of the bone are covered with cartilage. The part of those bones which having the synovial joints are covered with the cartilage. It provides a smooth surface for articulation, for movement. Okay. And the next is the capsule and the capsular ligament. So the joints, mainly the synovial joints, are surrounded by a capsule which holds the bone together and also protect the fluid which is present between the joints, and it allows the sufficient freedom of movement, but these are strong enough to protect from injury. For example, you can see in the diagram, these are the joint capsules. What are the function of these capsules? This holds the bone together. Okay. The main function of that capsule is that to hold the joint together and also protect the joint from injury. So let's see what are the functions of synovial joints. What are the functions which are performed in our body by the particular type of the joint, that is synovial joint. So it provides nutrition for the structures within the joint cavity. They provides nutrition, alright, and they contain phagocytes which removes the microbes. It also helps in removing or eliminating the microbes because they have the phagocytes which engulfs the microbes, okay, and also act as a lubricant. Synovial fluid also acts as a lubricant so that there is the smooth movement of the joints. And the synovial fluid also contain what? Pathogens. So they engulf the microbes and also provide the nutrition to the joint cavity. Cavity is the hollow space which is mainly for the synovial fluid. Alright. And also maintain joint stability. It is also maintain what? Joint stability. So first we will discuss about the ball and socket joint. So it allows the greatest range of movement because we can move our shoulder in all directions. We can see that 360. As you can see, there is a batsman. It allows freely move its hand. It is because of ball and socket joint, because the ball and socket joint is present in our shoulders and also in our legs joints. So it allows the greatest range of movement. That's why we are able to stretch our legs. In this type of the joint, head of the bone is fits into the socket of another bone. As you can see in the diagram, this is the head of the bone. This is the head of the bone. It is fits into the socket of the another bone. Okay, this is the socket and this is the head. So the head of the bone is fit in the socket of the bone. That's why they are freely movable. Held together in the position by tendons and ligaments. Okay, they are attached together by tendons and ligaments. Example है इसका where these joints are present. These joints are present in the shoulder and the hip joints. All right. The next is the hinge joint. Hinge joints allow the flexion and extension with only a small amount of rotation. As you can see, this is the flexion. Okay, stretching our head. So this allow the flexion and extension. That's why we extend our body. As you can see, this is the extension. Swimmer can extend its body due to the presence of hinge joint. And where these are, you can see these are present in the joints of leg. Where these are found in the elbows, in the knees, in the ankles, in the fingers and in the toes. So these are the places where are the hinge joints found. Okay, it is also known as the elbow and knee joints. The next is the pivot joint. It allow only rotation. It's allow what? Only rotation. So example है इसका proximal and distal radio-ulnar joint. Alright, example is the proximal and distal radio-ulnar joint. As you can see, we can move our neck, okay, freely. So it is because of the pivot joint. It allow only rotation, not flexion. The next is the gliding joint. In this joint, the articular surface of the bone looks flat, okay, and move on the another bone in slipping movement. Means that the articular surface of the bone having flat surface and it's move with other bone in what movement? Slipping movement. Okay, where these joints are found? These are found in the sternoclavicular joints and the joints between the carpals and the tarsals. As I already see you that these are the joints. Okay, these are present between the carpals and the tarsals. So these are the gliding joints. The next are the saddle joints. So saddle joints allow the movement of the joints backward and right to left. These joints are present in the wrist. Okay, you can see they are present in the wrist. It's allow what? It's allow the movement of the joint forward, backward and right to left. Okay. And the last type of the synovial joint is condylite joints. So condylite joints allow the movements in all directions, as you are able to rotate your hand wrist from wrist in all directions because they have full rotations. But in saddle joints, they are present between the fingers, so you can move backward or rightward or right to left. Alright, but in the condylite joint, this joint allow the full movement. You can rotate your wrist in all directions. So they are present in the wrists, in the metacarpophalangeal joints and the metatarsophalangeal joints. Means that they are also present in the legs. metatarsal phalangeal joints. Alright, so it is about the condylite joints. So students, in this video I already discussed with you that what are the joints, what are the classifications of the joint. There are the three classifications. I told you that fibrous, cartilaginous and the synovial joints. After reading that, I told you that the further classifications of these three types of the joints. Alright, and also I told you that what are the functions of the synovial fluid and how many types of the synovial joints are there with examples. Alright, I hope it is clear to all of you that what are the joints, what are the synovial joints, how many types of the synovial joints and what are the functions of the synovial fluid and where are the synovial joints are present or where are the fibrous joints are present, where are the cartilaginous joints are present. I hope all questions are clear to you. Thank you, students.